Alright, so we're going to talk about two theorems really quick. This one's called the Cyclic Quadrilateral theorem. So what that means is if all the sides of the quadrilateral just means a four-sided shape. That's all that means. Quad means four, lateral means side, four sides. So that just means that all side lengths are on the circle. That's it. And the theorem that we're going to talk about is that it says here opposite angles are supplementary. Supplementary means they add up to 180. So x plus y equals 180. When I say x plus y, these two. So these two add up to 180. So does A and C add up to 180. And the reason why they add up to 180 is because of this reason right here. Come on. If I follow the lines here to C and A, that goes to this guy. If I follow X to C and A, that goes to here. So you can see that covers the entire triangle or circle. So if you remember, these are inscribed angles. So that this covers this part, this covers that part, here and here. That means if I cut that at 360 in half, it has to be 180. But just know that opposites are going to be 180. The other one I want to talk about is chord arc theorem. If two chords, so remember, chords are these lines right here. So that's a chord and that's a chord. If they are congruent, then their arcs are congruent. So just like right here, it says L to M is congruent to X to, so that means these lines are congruent. This is 5, that's 5, whatever it is. So that means these arc measurements are the same. This is 15 degrees, this is 15 degrees. Same thing here. Right here, that's congruent to each other. That means the arcs are congruent to each other, and also the angles in this problem are congruent. So everything's congruent to each other. So if one's congruent, they're all congruent. Alright, so this is our cyclic quadrilateral. We know that because all points are on the circle. That's what it means by cyclic quadrilateral. So that means opposite angles are congruent. So this is called theta. That's a Greek letter usually representing an angle. So that means 70 plus theta equals 180. Subtract 70 from both sides. That means theta must be 110 degrees. Pretty simple. Alright, so we got two variables here. So it's important to understand which one goes with which. The 108 goes with the x. Those two are opposite of each other. The 88 goes with the y. That means 108 plus x equals 180. 88 plus y equals 180. So you can see we have two different ways of finding the answer of each answer. So all we got to do is take 180 minus 108. That means x equals 72. And 180 minus 88, and that gives me y equals 92. Quick trick for you. At the end, all four numbers must add up to 360. So if I take 72 plus 92 plus 108 plus 88, I'll look at that. My calculator says 360. That's how we know that these are the right answers. Alright, when you're doing a problem, make sure to identify what's your opposites. My 80 and my x are opposites of each other. They're not next to them, they're opposite. Then we got y and 71. So 71 plus y equals 180, and 80 plus x equals 180. So pretty simple, x is equal to 100, and y is equal to 109. There we go. And I bet if we added 109, 100, 71, and 80, it'll probably give us 369. It will. Alright, so let's look at this problem. There's a lot of variables going on here. There's 4 variables. Now, it's hard to start. Don't start with x if you don't know what to do. So first I will just do what you know what to do. Okay, first thing I know is that 70 and w are opposites. So that means 70 and w have to add up to 180. So that means 70 plus w has to equal to 180. Well, if that is the case, I subtract. It means w equals 110. Bam, easy. Same thing here, 85 and z. So that means 85 plus z equals 180. Well, if I subtract that, z is going to give me 95. So right there, just knowing from my previous, what you just learned today, I was able to solve 2 of the 4. Okay, let's kind of erase these. Make some more room. Alright, the thing here, it says BC is congruent to CD. So BC is congruent to CD. Okay, remember, if that's the case, that means these two arcs, this arc and this arc, even though they don't might not look like it, excuse me, are congruent. So whatever this is, this has to be. And the way to figure that out is let's follow 70. 70 has to go here and here. So you can see 70 is an inscribed angle. It goes to what I just drew. That means if this is 70, if you remember your inscribed angles, this has to be 140. And we know that because it's 170 times 2. So this whole thing is 140, and the yellow is congruent to the purple, and they have to be the same number. That means the yellow's 70 degrees, and the purple's 70 degrees. Okay, pretty simple. All right, Z is now 95, and W is now 110. Okay, so now there's a couple ways to do this from here. What I'm going to do, it don't matter if you find X or Y first. And there's a couple ways to do this. I'm going to find X first. I just looked at it first, and I feel like finding it. I'm going to use 85 degrees. If I follow my lines here to C and A, my line that I just created goes from A all the way over here to C. I moved it so it doesn't cross over. So we know from B to C it's 70. We know that. We know that we know that blue highlighted all the way to 170. Now if you're saying that, like, hold on, how do you get 170? That's 85 times 2. Because once again, we're talking about inscribed angles. Inscribed angles are times 2. So if I know the whole blue is 170, I know the purple is 70. That means the rest of the purple from here has to be 100 degrees. Alright, so we know that this part is 100. We know that part's 70. We know this part's 70. The question is, how do we find that part? Well, all four must add up to 360. So if you took 360, subtracted by 100, minus 70, minus 70, I bet you're going to get that number. Let's do that. I'll just do my calculator. 360 minus 100 minus 70. It's going to be 120. So that means if I took 100 plus 70 plus 70 plus 120, I can guarantee that's going to give you 360. So with this, and if you didn't want to start, I start with W and Z. If you wanted to start with X and Y, you could actually do that. There's nothing wrong. I just start with what we know and kind of build upon what we've learned. Alright, in this problem, once again, when I do problems like this, guys, there's multiple ways to start. I'm just doing what I feel, what I see. First thing I see, look on the inside. I have X, Z, and Y. I have to find those two variables, but I have a 93 here. The thing we just learned today is that opposite angles are supplementary. All I got to do is take 180 minus 93. I get 7. I get 87 degrees. So that means Z is 87. So just like that, by knowing what we know today, I was able to figure that out. Now I cannot use that theorem again because I don't have my opposites are X and Y. But if we notice this, check this out. I know these numbers here. I know 58 and 106. That means from here all the way over here will be the sum of that. So let's find the sum. 58, that's fine. 58 plus 106, that means the whole blue is 164. Okay. Now, if we were to follow that, follow the lines at the very end, this, it should go to X. So you can see that that's the inscribed angle. So if I take 164 and cut in half, that's 82. That's my answer to X. So you see all I did was added 58 and 106 because that's the blue. And if I followed my lines right here, it takes me right to X. So half of 164 is 82. Now I'm allowed to take cyclic quadrilaterals and find those two. 180 minus 82. It's 98 degrees. And once again, I bet you if you took your calculator, I'm going to do it right now. I took 93 plus 98 plus 82 plus 87. Oh, look at that. My calculator just gave me 360. If you pause this and did it, you get 360 as well. Alright, in this problem, like I said, always go with what you know and what you need to know. So I'm just going by here what I think we should do. This is 83. This is Y. There's opposite angles. So we should probably take 180 minus 83 because those are supplementary. So 10, 7, 17, so 7. So we get 97 for Y. So this is similar to the last problem right now. It says here from here to here 64. From here to here it's 122. So let's figure out the whole length. 122 plus 64, 186. The whole blue is 186. If I follow my lines at the edge of these arcs, it goes straight to x. So that means to go from here to here, I just divide by 2, and that'd be 93 degrees. There you go. And you could have found x first and then found y. It don't matter to me. Alright, with this one, now we have some variables that we have to kind of figure out. But remember that this plus this guy adds up to 180. So if I take 3x plus, like if I add these two together, it's going to be 180. So to save myself some space, 3x plus 3x is 6x, not 6x squared. If I take negative 32 plus 2, it's going to be negative 30. So I just kind of added like terms, and we know they add up to 180. So just to recap, I combine like terms, 3x plus 3x is 6x. Negative 32 plus 2 is negative 30. I'm going to add 30 to both sides and get 210. Divide by 6, and x equals 70. Oops, not 70. Whoa, that's not close. So 180 plus 30, divide that by 6. 35, sorry. I was off. 35 is your answer. Alright, this problem, similar as the last one. We got opposite angles here. We're going to combine them to get 180. So it's 7x plus 12. There's 180. Remember, I got 7 because I took 4x plus 3x. 9 plus 3 and got 12. If I subtract 12 from both sides, it's 7x. 180 minus 12. 168. And I divided both those numbers by 7. I'm going to get x equals 24. Make sure you always look at the direction. If it says solve for x, we'd be done. If it says, hey, find the angle measurement here or here, you plug it in. Alright, here's the last example. So you can first off notice that I have y's and I have x's. So a thing that I could think about off the top of my head is, oh, all 4 of these must add up to 360. But we can't do that because there's no way I can solve for a y and an x at the same time. So first thing we have to do is utilize these two. Excuse me, 7x plus 1 plus 105 equals 180. I get 7x plus 106 equals 180. I just took 105 plus 1. I'm going to take, excuse me. Yeah, sorry. I'm going to subtract 106 from both sides. I get 74. Divide that number by 7. I'm going to get a decimal. I'm going to get x equals 10. I'll say 10.6. I rounded. It was 10.571. So my answer x. With y, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to combine like terms and equal to 180. So 4i plus 7i is 11y. 14 plus 1 is 15. So I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides. You get 11y equals 165, and I'm going to divide by 11. You get y equals 15. So, I want to double check, is my math right? Yeah, looks all good. Those are my two answers.